If you're working on a book, a course, or any idea, but waiting until it's finished until you start sharing it, this session of the Publish Creator podcast is going to be one you really want to listen to because it will completely shift how you're approaching everything. One of my guests that was on the hot seat, Authorpreneur Decision Hot Seat today, has already sold 130 copies of her book that she's written but has not published yet, 70 copies of that 130 in less than 24 hours. So you're going to get introduced to that as well in this episode of the podcast. So listen in. And if you'd like to participate in future live sessions of the Entrepreneur Decision Hot Seat, information will be available to you inside the description here on this video. Enjoy the episode. All right, awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me for my second Entrepreneur Decision Hot Seat. I started these sessions, I got the inspiration a couple of weeks ago, and I do a webinar masterclass at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, called the Entrepreneur Decision Room. And Roxanne has been on, and Sonja both have been with me on those sessions, but I want to do something in between those opportunities. Again, I'm gonna put the links to all of that inside of the description and inside of the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably will be, or inside my Publish Creator School community. So if you'd like to join me in that community, that way you'll always be up to date on when I do the masterclass and also when I do now the weekly hot seats. So the hot seat is an opportunity for me to get some insight and to also help give you as the authorpreneur, which interesting conversation right before we started today. When I say authorpreneur, many of us assume and believe, because it's what I talk about and lead with, is about a book, but you can be an author of anything that is sharing information, whether it's digital or physical, be it a book, an app, a course, a class, a retreat, a coaching program, whatever it is. So authorpreneurship doesn't necessarily mean or stop at or limited to the physicality of a book as well. So I just wanted to extend that in for clarity so that if you are not even thinking about writing a book right now or creating a book right now, you can still get a lot of value out of these sessions. So I wanted to share that up front to encourage you for future sessions to come on and join. And let me see if I can help you get some insight and some clarity and some direction about opportunities that are out there for you during the process. This is mainly about getting awareness about where you need to take your intellectual property as you're developing it, not once it's done. Because that to me is where the real marketing begins, is in sharing with the world what you're doing as you're building it, so that when it is ready, whether it's an app, a course, a book, or whatever it is, that you have people waiting for it that are a part of it. And more to the point, they want to support you and what you're doing so that when your product is quote unquote ready for sale, they're actually ready there with credit card and hand ready to buy, preferably having paid you before it's even finished, because that is also something that I personally feel that every one of us should be doing. I know from personal experience that people say a lot of things, but cash speaks louder. So once the money's in your bank account is when you know, okay, I really want this. And then, of course, you deliver on what you've sold. All right. So I'm going to move. So I have three participants today with me. I have Christine Gonzalez and I have Roxanne, a returning hot seat participant. And then I have Sonja, if she's able to come on, and we'll talk about her project. So let's start with Christine. Thank you so much, Christine, for coming. And thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to start out with the questions right off the bat. So first of all, why don't we do this? I didn't do this last time. I want to do this today. So Christine, why don't you tell us just a little, like just your name, where you're from, just a tiny little bit about yourself, then I'll go into the questions.
And my name's Christine Gonzalez. I live in the Toronto area. I was born and grew up in the Toronto area. So I live sort of not in Toronto, but just a little suburb a few miles out where it's a little bit more quiet. I have three grown adult children and a couple of grandkids. And yeah, that's me.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for coming. All righty, so let's hop right into it. So, tell us about your current book that you're currently working on right now.
Okay. The current book that I'm currently working on right now is a book that it comes from my experience. It's about I became a grandmother in my 40s and I wasn't quite ready to be called grandma or granny or any such word. And so really it's a book about the antics, the birth of my first grandchild, going through again, not being wanted to call granny and grandma, what could I be called? So, it's a book that shows the steps I took to get to my name, and which is Nona. I like the word Nona. And what I liked Nona was because it was a name that was simple. And I also had a family friend, her sister was named Nona. So I said, okay, I can get away with being called Nona. And so the steps I took, from the time my daughter first called me and told me that she was having a baby, and then going through I'm not going to be called, I don't want to be called granny or grandma, and then looking to the names, choosing the names, going through all of that. And so the book takes you through the first year of, the new baby and, helping my daughter to get accustomed to a new baby and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a book that's inspired by me and my life, my true life.
Just so you know who are watching, as you see me moving, I'm actually things come to me as as everyone's talking. So if I'm not engaging, but I'm actually taking notes and things are coming
Okay.
to me as I'm listening. So this is just for everyone watching, so you kind of know it's like I'm not distracted. I'm just taking notes. Okay, I love this. Okay. All right. So I would ask, who is this book really for, based on what you
Well, initially when I started writing the book, or it was in my mind, I'm really into history and legacy. It's something that I can leave for the generations beyond. They can see how the Nona name came about. It's something for my grandson, who's now 18. He's now 18, how they can look back and see how the name came about, look back and because they forget. They weren't babies and they were babies. They don't remember how things used to be. He can go back and look at some of the things we used to do or how things were before he was a, big kid. It's also for you know, spending time with Rodney and his group, I've been able to do brainstorming, and come up with other ideas. It's also for other people. You'd be surprised, well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but I find a lot of women today don't want to be called grandma or granny. And, my kids are always saying to me, Mom, you are a grandma. I know, but I don't really didn't want to be called granny or grandma. And that's popular. I think about the people I know, people that I've come across, always looking for different names. And in the book, you will see the different types of names that people have. So it's people that can relate to my situation. And trust me, I mean, I'm sure you realize that grandmothers are becoming younger and younger and younger all the time. And even the grandmothers that are not so young, when you look at women today that are like in their 60s and they don't look like the 60s and 70-year-old grandmas that we grew up with, right? So there's a change in society. So for those people, and some of the things that I didn't initially think about, but baby showers, right? Baby showers or people that are, maybe even surprised. You have these surprise baby showers where is it a pink or is it a blue, right? So those kinds of things, or gifts that people want to give to people that are going to have a baby or going to be a grandma. So, those are not all the things that I initially thought about. Initially, it was to have for my family and my legacy. But, you know, when you start brainstorming and talking to other people, it's open.
hmm hmm Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. I'm just taking more notes here. You mentioned something a moment ago I also want to talk about as well. All right. Now, let me ask you, I know you were in the process, because again, you and I are already working together in another program I have. but I know that you were in the process of developing the illustrations and getting everything pulled together for the book. Aside with that in mind, because I already have this intel about you already, what are you doing with it? That but, oh, well, let me rephrase that. I personally know that you're working on developing the book. What else are you doing to raise awareness about the book project, as you are working on getting the actual manuscript ready to go, if anything?
Okay, well, a lot of it is in here, but it's getting I'm getting close now. I've got the illustrations done. I've just got to now put the I'm just putting the into the frame, the book frame, and the text. So I'm getting close. I'm getting close to it being published. And in my mind, and also from being in the group and from getting ideas, some of the things that I will be doing is first of all, word of mouth. Word of mouth. And I'm thinking of places that I would market the book, right? Because remember, Rodney said, did you say this at the initial? Maybe not, but Rodney always says, stay one step ahead. So you're not going to wait till the book is actually in my hands and published, and then it just goes on KDP and sits there. No, I have to become proactive in where I'm going to put this book. And this is my second book. So I've learned a lot, and you've got to be proactive. So you got to talk about it. You got to tell people you know, friends you know. But I would like to find out more about the libraries. So I plan on putting it in libraries. And the thing about this book, like I just mentioned earlier, it's basically a children's book, but it's also can be used for adults, like I say, baby showers, people that are going to be having grandkids or whatever. So it's a book that can be used in different spaces. So I'm looking at libraries, bookstores. I know in the States you have Barnes and Noble. But we also have book chains out here as well in Canada. So book chains. With my first book, I had done quite a lot of vendor opportunities and vendor opportunity based on the particular niche of the book. Well, there's all kinds of book fairs coming up, especially now that it's springtime. It's on the Facebook, it's on social media, all kinds of book fairs. Mother's Day's coming up, Father's Day. So Mother's Day, grandmother's, right? Father's Day. There's all kinds of, family gatherings and a lot of vendor opportunities. So I find the niche that your book can be in can also be spread to different niches for the book fairs, vendor opportunities. And so that is what I aim to, that's my plan. That's my plan going forward.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, great. All right. So actually, I'm going to stop there with the questions that I have for you because I've got so many insights and ideas for you for getting really started on just really getting started. So again, this is recorded, so you can go back and listen to this later. And for you all listening, watching, hopefully this will drop some nuggets for you that you can start thinking about as well for yourself, because this is universal, even though we're speaking specifically about Christine and her particular book, How Nona Got Her Name. But the things I'm going to share are universal. So the first thing I want to emphasize for Christine, and this again is for everyone universal, is, and why the questions I'm asking Christine in this case is universal to all of you, is what you all should be thinking about is, what is the story? What is the story? When we're clear about the story, about why we are creating this product, in this case, what was the motivation? What was the inspiration behind it? That in and of itself is not just something that we bank in our own minds and we don't share that. That sharing of that story is your marketing. What came to me as you were speaking was, that's your copy, that's your marketing, that's your messaging. That can go into press releases, that can attract the attention of media, news, print, and online. That can be the story that you share on podcast interviews that you do, on TV interviews that you do. The big thing I want to, this was really standing out for me, is I even thought about this could be an actual name of a title of an article, it could be a blog post. It could be the cornerstone of all of your media is don't call me granny. The reason why is because it is something that is we you and I've talked about this privately, but this is a universal conversation that is happening. As you've said, more and more people are becoming grandparents earlier. And you and I've had this conversation. Not only that some women don't want to be called granny because, not so much because of age or maybe even vanity, but because the identity shift that we have in society right now about what it looks like to be a grandmother now has changed. Women are more engaged with fitness and more engaged with, taking care of themselves. I mean, you can look at images now of women who are in their 70s, even in their 80s, and they look fabulous. There was one of the Atlanta housewives that she said she wanted to be called glam, GLAM, ma. So, and I heard that years ago. So, because we are so influenced by media right now, and women are, like I said, taking better care of themselves, they don't, the identity around grandma means old for many people subconsciously. So, you're hitting on a very universal story regardless of what people call their grandmothers, no matter where they are in the world, which I know you address in the book. So, the thing I want to really emphasize for all of you listening is to dig into the story behind the why. What was the thing that inspired you to want to create this book? And take some time to write that out or talk it out. You can know what I love about ChatGPT right now is that you can literally pick up your device and just voice brainstorm, but away from the writing, away from the need to, do all of this stuff, but just really talk it out. What is your why? The things that are emotionally charged, the things that you hear people say that are emotionally charged, you want to make note of that because, again, that is the cornerstone of your marketing. It will actually help you to write your copy. It'll help you to come up with your titles for your press releases and for your media slant. So that's what came up for me. Was the story is really important. Don't we? No matter what the subject matter is, there's a reason why we have to talk about that because that's going to be the cornerstone of, like I said, your marketing. The other thing that came up for me as you were talking in particular was when you mentioned your grandson, Jack, who's now 18. What popped in my head was a personalization play. I had a really good friend of mine, whose mom, who I knew very well, she passed away last summer. And she had, I think the last I heard, I want to say she had 45, maybe 50 great and great grandchildren. And many of them, I remember she always said to me, she said, I always get a new baby for Christmas because someone was having a baby. And but I'm going to bring, well, that's one part of the story. But the other thing I remember about her is that she had these, well, I would call them trashy novels, but they were like those kind of, racy novels. And she loved to read and she loved to play crossword puzzles. And I remember she gave me one of the books to read just because she wanted to get my reaction. And I was reading, and it was kind of like one of those romancy, like I said, racy novels. But the female protect character was her name. And I kept reading the book, and I was like, oh, at first I didn't think anything about it. And then she kept waiting for to see what my reaction would be. And when I finally got it, and she showed me another book, and she showed me another book. She had like about a dozen of them. And I went, these all are you? And she was like, and she told me about the company that did this personalization play. So they would take the name of whoever you submitted and they would customize the story. The story was already written, but they would insert your name
Mhm.
where the again, I'm not talking about the mechanics of how to actually do this, but when you were talking, I had the immediate thought I says, down the line is that that could be a product differentiator for you is to have the books personalized where it's the child's name. So as they get older, they see that the book was written about them. Now, again, I'm not saying to do that now. I'm saying I don't know how the mechanics, how that's going to come, but that's what came to me as you were talking.
They
Uh,
have those books now, like for Christmas time. Actually, when my kids were small, my kids were
mhm,
small.
mhm,
They have those like for Christmas time. So you put their name in and they get
mhm,
like a little story, but it would be their name. I never
mhm.
even thought about that. Those are actually quite popular books.
Yeah, they're very popular.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is by having that personalization play, because people are so like emotional around the birth of a new life, and especially if you're a first time grand, I mean, that's everything. Like there's nothing that you wouldn't do for your grandchild. And so what I'm saying is that from a financial perspective, money doesn't become an issue because they want that memory, they want that keepsake. So again, I'm not talking about the mechanics of how to actually do that or how that's going to be developed. That may be a partnership play with a company who already can do that for you. And I'm saying that can be a down the line thing, but that is something that came to me as you were talking was a personalization play that could happen with that.
That's a good example of, again, these meetings that we have online like this. It's
Mhm.
another example of learning new things. Like so many of these things that we talk about in our group, and like I mentioned with Sonia, the last meeting we had, like I never even thought of these things. But when you start talking to people and getting other perspective, it's very helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that definitely came up for me. So getting clear on story, looking at alternative or not so much alternative, but again, it can be so much like you've got your base story that you've done, which is about you and your experience. But again, a personalization play could be the next level for the books as continue to get it out there. Now, in regards to getting it out there, what came up for me as you were talking was I know you talked about, and this is something I want to share across Universal. So many of us, as we're creating a book, our immediate thought always goes to, well, actually, before I get into that, let me share this other thing. I personally know the story of your story of putting this together and the struggles that you've experienced. This is something that for many people is something that we may not think about, myself included, but I do want to share this because I feel like it's really valuable. BTS, behind the scenes, sharing content about what you're doing and what you're going through as you're doing it helps to build connection. So, for an example, I know that you struggled a lot with getting the illustrations done and all of the things to pull that together. We don't think of that as content, but why I literally named the book The Authorpreneur Decision, and I used the term literally build the book, not write the book. There's the building of the business behind the book. And we are still, as creatives, we still are in this mindset that I don't put this out into the world until it's all packaged and polished and done. What I'm saying is, this is a mindset shift, but it is one that I'm seeing over and over and over again with content creators sharing the behind the scenes, especially the things that are vexing you and giving you the blues, is content. We don't think of it like that. We think, well, who wants to watch, the grotty that I'm dealing with? But the reality of it is that it's a connection piece. So, and I'm not saying everything has to be when it's bad and you're down, like, oh my God, what am I? But even that, I mean, still, it's content. So being able to share the behind the scenes about the struggles that you had and then the support that you got and the transformation for because it's not, and you've heard me say this because you've been with me for a minute, Christine, it's not about the book. At the end of the day, all of this that we're doing is not about the book. It's who we become, is who you become as a result of creating the book. And that's going to come with challenges and changes and struggles and things that are going to come with that. And that is also just as much a part of it's a part of your brand. It's a part of of who you are and your identity as and it makes people want to rally behind you. So when you walked all that out and you still kept going, even when you were like going, why am I doing this? And nothing's working and so on and so forth, but you got it. The person that's looking at this is going to go, if she walked it out and she didn't know and so on and so forth, I can do it too. So that's another part of the connection piece that we want because we're buying from people. We're not just buying, we're not just buying the book. We're not just buying the app. We're buying people. People want to know who they're doing business with. So being able to walk out the frustration, being able to walk out the struggles, being able to walk out the challenges, being able to walk out all of it is a part of it. And the best piece of advice that I've ever gotten about it is just turn the camera on. Even if you're having one of those days, just turn the camera on because again, we think of it like, well, I don't really want to, no one wants to watch all of that. Actually, we really do. Gary Vaynerchuk says that documenting is the best marketing that you can do. Documenting your process is just as much marketing, valuable marketing as it is the polished, buttoned up, everything's all packaged up and beautiful with a nice bow on top of it. So again, the story, this all kind of ties back to connection point. That really is very valuable for you. Now, moving on from that, the last piece I'll talk about is the actual acquisition of customers. For authors, we tend to think of the usual suspects: Amazon, Barnes Noble, bookstores, vendor fairs, all of that. All of those are great. But the best piece of advice I can give everyone listening is think specialize. Think, and one of the questions that I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway, is who is the book for? This is a really key and important question in your development of your marketing plan. Who is the book for? And again, I already know who the book is for because I've talked about this, but this is what I'm sharing for universally for everyone watching. Who is the book for and where are they already hanging out? Because let's be clear, it's a book. Yes, it's an obvious that people are going to go to the bookstore, but not everyone goes to the bookstore. Not everyone goes to the library. Not everyone goes to, everyone doesn't do that. We do that because that's how we acquire information. Back in the day, Borders was, well, the library always was my church when I was growing up. But Borders and Barnes Noble became my place that I always hung out. But I don't do that anymore. I haven't been to a bookstore and I don't know, I think since I first moved here. I don't do that anymore. But that's me. I'm saying, where is your customer for this particular product already hanging out? Where they already go? In your case, if they're going to be introduced to a book like this, they're going to go to, if you're becoming an expectant grandmother, or you are someone wants to buy a gift for your mom, you will go, well, obviously people who buy baby clothes, go to where they sell baby clothes. So stores where they already sell all of that stuff, that's where your book would be one of the options to fit. Registries, like bridal registries, there's registries where people can put the things they need for the expected baby. That would be a place to go to. So those are, again, think outside the box. Don't always assume or think just the obvious. Obviously, there are people, publications. There's like Parents Magazine or, Grandparents Magazine. I would say do a Google search and just write it out. Like, this is who my book is for. This is what my book is about. This is the audience I have for the book, so on and so forth. Um, this is the story. Give me some ideas about where, and even if there's events, like if there's anything locally happening in the Toronto area that directly addresses that market, addresses that audience, I would rather see you be an author in an event that complements what you do as opposed to being at a book fair. not as opposed to, but in addition to that. Because again, you'll stand out because there won't be everyone there pushing a book. You know, obviously maternity wards, obstetricians, offices, those kinds of places is where you can stand out. You want to go to where there is not already essentially a crowd of compet no, I say competition, but you want to be in an environment where your audience is hanging out, not where your competition is hanging out. And so again, if it's in a bookstore, you're competing with every other book in that store. But if you go to places where your audience is hanging out already, then, people who are organizing baby showers, obviously first choice. That's where I would focus my attention on in the beginning. So again, the questions you want to ask yourself is, where is my audience already hanging out? And if they weren't going to libraries and they weren't going to bookstores, where else would they go? What blogs are they looking at? What there could be apps that are out there. I know Sanja develops apps. There could be apps out there that are for, expected moms or grandmas or whatever, grandparents, whatever it can be. Maybe there could be some kind of an alliance there that could happen for you with that. But be willing to think outside the box and be willing to, yeah, just don't go with just the obvious. So yeah, that's basically what I have for you. What I know I spray gunned you with a lot.
No, those are good ideas, Rodney. And you're right. Like I actually went to our big Canadian chain out here is Chapters. I went to Chapters bookstore because I happened to be at the mall. This is about before Christmas. And I rarely go to the mall. You're right. I mean, look at the books. I have lots of books, but I hadn't been to a bookstore in a long time. And there was a time in my life, like, I mean, since I was a little kid, I lived at the library. Every day I used to go to the library. We had one near where I lived, constantly at the library, constantly at the bookstore. But like most people, I have succumbed. I always said I wouldn't succumb to like podcasts or listening to books online. And I do a lot of that. You know, if I'm doing something, I'll listen to books. I did succumb to that.
Mhm,
And I have a lot of online books. So you're right.
mhm, mhm,
You know,
mhm.
you're right.
Yeah,
So where do people hang out?
yeah,
You know, I like that. Never thought of
yeah.
that. Another example of being around other people and getting perspectives, because that I didn't think of some of those places.
Hmm. So let me ask you this question, the last question I'll ask you. If you pursue this direction, the things that we talked about today, how do you feel that would change the way you're thinking about your project?
Well, it opens up my mind to where I could make connections. And it almost looks like the libraries and the books. They're still good places, but that's smaller thinking. I need more bigger thinking. Because it is what it is. That's how life is now. The corner library is not the same as it was, what, 20, 30 years ago. And although that's where I lived in the library most of my life, that's not, I mean, look at my own two grandkids, right? They, unless I'm the one that kind of takes them to the library when I can't, well, not the 18-year-old, the little 5-year-old, right? But other than that, libraries are not as central as they used to be.
Yeah,
And as much as many of us, think about technology is here to stay.
yeah.
And we have to embrace it.
Hmm.
Or, I mean,
Yeah.
even AI, it's
Hmm.
the world is not flat, as you can
Hmm.
see from the pictures with the moon guys recently, the astronauts. The world is not flat.
Hmm.
And technology, we have to embrace it. We have to embrace where it's going and how people see things. I mean, even me, if I need something,
Hmm.
I order it or I check it out. Everything's online. So we got
Yeah,
to change our thinking.
yeah,
So those are good examples, Rodney. And
yeah,
thank you. Thank
yeah.
you for those
Yeah,
further
absolutely.
suggestions.
You're absolutely welcome. Yeah, it's meeting people where they are.
Yeah,
Where they are.
exactly. Yeah.
And what I'll just say about the online component of it is that that has opened up so many opportunities for all of us. And again, if you can, again, well, this is my core thing, my core piece of advice that I give, which I think is one of the most valuable and probably one of the most underused methods of quote unquote marketing is the power of collaboration. Everyone who's in business is trying to do one thing, raise attention and get more business, whether it's virtual foot traffic or physical foot traffic. And when we don't keep aware of that, we focus on the obvious,
Right.
which is nothing wrong with that, but we focus on the obvious. So the most important question that I asked in this conversation, and I would say this to everyone listening to this, is where is my audience already hanging out? You get the start to get the, because again, if you ask who, not how, one of my favorite books I talk about all the time is Who, Not How. I'll put the link to that in the show notes. The who will appear. If you can connect with the who by helping them get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. So why, if there's an app out there, as an example, that has the ear of your audience and your help, and you can find out what their initiatives are and what they're working on and what they're doing, and you can see how your product can be a thing to help them look better at their audience. I'm not guaranteeing it, but the chances increase exponentially that then they will then in turn feature you in some kind of way that could open up doors for you beyond any single bookstore play that you could do in any instance, because the app could reach thousands, if not millions of people. And I'm just using this, I'm not saying this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I think
No, I'm
that's one
just
example of it. So again, I can't emphasize the power of collaboration and looking for how we as creators can help the collaboration partner look better to their audience, to their people. When we can focus on that and walk in with, oh, I have this book and I want you to sell it. No, I have an idea that I know your readers or your viewers are going to really appreciate. And I like to talk to you about how, and have something developed and pitch it to them. So
I've
again,
mentioned that many times, and I have over since the time I've worked with you, you have mentioned that,
mhm.
and that's a good point. Thank you for reminding me about that.
So, and again, you can do that even while the book is even in development, you can start doing that. We don't have to wait till it's done. We have just
Uh,
now because of print on demand, we can have a mock-up done. We can have a sample done just to give them a taste of what's going to come and start those conversations immediately. So this is the core thing that I talk about a lot in the Authorpreneur Decision I'm writing and the program that I'm creating right now, because these things need to happen not after the book is done, now, today,
But they see
as you're
that that's
developing.
all the way thinking. That's
Hmm.
all the way thinking for ages that you do the book and then you
Hmm.
go out there and you try and get.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was such a new thing when you talked about that or other people that you have done that with. It
Hmm.
was such a new thing that you promote the book ahead of time. And then remember when you told that, then I started looking at other, looking online and stuff. A lot of
Hmm.
people do that.
Hmm.
And so it's again, it's a change. It's a
Hmm.
change of your thinking,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That you promote the book even before it's even written.
What's even written? Yeah. And that's the thing. And if you get clarity on that right now, because this is the bottom line, I'll just share this right now. Wouldn't we rather know now than before we put all of our time and energy and blood and sweat and tears and attention? Now, I'm not you, Christine. I'm not worried about you in that regard. But I'm saying, wouldn't it be better to know that now as opposed to after you have done all this work and then put all this together? I mean, there are people out there. I just had a colleague last night I saw on LinkedIn. He has a client that dropped 10 grand to develop his book. And the book is done. 10,000 between editors, covers, illustrators. I don't know if it's a children's book or not, but he does use the word illustrator. And he spent $100 on ads on Facebook, which is nothing. And he feels like the book is a flop.
There. That's a lot of money.
But because he put all this energy and attention into this, the assumption is going to be everyone's going to want this. Well, who is everyone and how do they know you exist? Because no one's sitting around thinking about us other than our family all day or people that we know. No one's
Yeah,
sitting around thinking
yeah,
about
yeah,
us, you
yeah.
know? So if we're not helping them, we're not introducing ourselves to them as we're developing, how can they support what we're doing down the line? So that's why I'm saying the marketing starts the minute you decide to create the product, not after it's done. Not after it's done.
Good words, good advice.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. You're welcome. All righty. So Roxanne, I saw you had your hand up, and I want to get some follow up from you from last time.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell Christine something about libraries that I've seen change lately. The one by me, I don't know if all libraries are doing this, but the one by me feels like a huge daycare center. They have a gigantic area where the kids play right in the middle of the library. They're yelling, they're screaming. It's really different. Libraries used to be quiet when I was little. Growing up, if you started talking even a little too loud, the librarian come over, oh no, loud talking. But not anymore.
Oh,
If you want quiet, you gotta reserve a room to go
Yep.
into to be for that quietness. And you
wow.
still kind of hear a little bit the kids and whatever, but it's really different. And there's a lot of moms at the one that I go to at the street every day. They're there with the kids to play in the play area and all that kind of stuff. So maybe sometimes the library might be good as far as looking for the moms who bring
Mhm.
their kids there to play during the day. It's usually I think the earlier part of the day,
Right.
before the big naps and all that. But I just wanted to tell you that part, something to think
No,
about.
it's true. The library that I know too, they have, you're right. They have these big, and they're quite noisy. These
Yeah,
kids, but they have
yeah,
their singing time in there. And when you were saying that, someone else had mentioned that to me, but story times. They do all these story times.
yeah. Story time is
So
big.
yeah,
Yeah.
the story time. Yeah, good point, Roxanne. Yeah, no, story times would be a good idea to read and whatever. Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So Roxanne, I know
Yeah.
you did my first hot seat session last week. What's been follow-up progress since the last time?
Well, I ended up collaborating with the nonprofit called the Capri Theater. They have Capri Camp for middle schoolers,
Okay.
and they asked me to come back to do that again, but with a little more teaching, like culinary teaching,
Okay.
which is something I've been wanting to do and pushing to do for a long time. But I realized in the times of me like striving for it, I didn't get it. There was a lot of building and learning and lessons that I need to go through and inner work that I needed to do to become the person who is just going to be asked to do something or something, or the person who they'll look at and be like, oh, this is great, Why
Mhm.
don't you come back and do this again and let's do more. And it's something that I wasn't really striving for. I just made an ask, like, is there some way I can fit in with this?
Okay.
And then I was thinking like having a flyer with my book because a lot of these kids' parents are vendors. I know they are because the
Yes.
Capri Theater is where a lot of the vendors come, and I couldn't imagine it. None of these kids' parents are one of those people who are actually at the Capri all the time. Um, word of mouth, like Christine was saying, you were saying. Um, I'm really digging deeper into word of mouth. I want to do the newspaper thing. I think that's a wonderful idea. and just make that newspaper fun. Like, I'm deciding to go back into like cooking with people and interviewing them at the same time. I love doing that. Like last year and year before, I was like inviting people who were getting kind of popular in the community. One young man was selling cinnamon rolls, and he still does. And I invited him to my place, and he made his cinnamon rolls, and I interviewed him.
Wow.
And another young lady who I think she's more popular than my brain can really wrap my head around, but I'm starting to see her like with giant crowds of people playing her music when I follow her channel. I was like, who did I have at my party? Like, do I
Um,
really know who this was, you know?
okay.
But we made a video together making just a common sausage and what was it? Cabbage and sausage meal that she never made before. Um, and I'm gonna get that video out. I still haven't put it out yet because
Wow.
I thought I was gonna switch everything up.
Right.
But my bigger thing right now as far as the book goes, I want to focus on this issue that I've been dealing with for a long time that nobody spoke out about, and it's about vendors. And I see more and more how vendors are really being used.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they realize that they're being used this way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to see more and more events with these high vendor fees where they have to pay 200, 500. I saw today it was like $1,200 to have a booth set up at somebody else's party where people come. They're coming for the vendors. The vendors are where the party is at.
Mm-hmm.
But before the doors even open, the host has thousands of dollars from the vendors,
Mm-hmm.
not from the sales. I mean, they don't have, what do they have to sell? They don't have to
Mm-hmm.
sell anything. They
Mm-hmm.
get their money from the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And I more and more think that that's not okay. And
Mm-hmm.
vendors are starting to say the same thing. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
but wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending all this time and energy making my product and da da da, and I got to set up and this and that. And I'm thinking, I think some of these places need to be paying the vendors to come in and do this because
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't, some just feels super off to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the events are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the vendor fees are getting higher and higher. And I'm like, who are these vendors and how are you, you know,
Right, right,
able to
right.
even break even or whatever? Because there's so much competition. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times there's multiple bakers or there multiple people selling candles or multiple people doing this or that in the same event. And so that's the conversation. So once I was in this actual Facebook group, I'm in this Facebook group where one girl a couple weeks ago said it. She said, I'm going to be the one to say this out loud. Okay, I guess I need to do this. And she said, who right now is actually being able to pay these high vendor fees and actually make a profit?
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation just exploded. And I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only person. Y'all see my pen. Y'all remember these? Multiple colors. But anyway, um,
So funny.
so that conversation just started to happen. And that's when I felt like this is like validation for me
Mm-hmm.
that this
Mm-hmm.
is a real a thing that people are struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not so much talking about the people who are born into money or who already have a lot of money. And it's not wrong with having money, but there's a lot of people who vend who don't have much money
Mm-hmm.
and they're missing out on these events because I can't afford the booth fee, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a big food truck that costs a bajillion
Mm-hmm.
dollars
Mm-hmm.
just to
Mm-hmm.
run it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm doing this for the little guys in the vending world. And there's a lot of us out here. And like I said before, I know a lot of people who do this for a living. They vend for a living to put food on the table. And when everybody starts jumping on the bandwagon, ooh, look how much I can charge for vendor fees. Oh, they're doing that, so I'm going to do it too. And then it just starts to cut out a lot of people. So my strategy is to help vendors get together to organize events amongst themselves so they don't have to pay vendor fees. They just organize the event. And out here, and it's getting warmer, you can have an event on your front lawn. You know,
That's
invite the
it.
neighborhood to come over. People start getting used to it. Tell them to pull out their grills or whatever. I'm just trying to get people to think out of the box. It's very communal. I'm a very community-minded person. And I see it. I see it in my brain. I see it happening. And it's just like
Hmm.
people started singing on their front porches. And now there's this big old, um, what is it called? Somebody, Nookie or something like that, singing on the front porch. And now
Yeah.
all these famous people are coming to that front porch and singing their music.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I thought that I started that whole thing.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you.
But
Yeah.
but I did it. Somebody else was thinking the same thing, but they ran with it. And so it's similar of what I'm trying to do. It's like, hey, don't pay these high vendor fees. Let's just collaborate and have these community events together, and
Hmm.
everybody's on the same plane. And whatever you make is what you make. You keep it in your pocket, and you're not just being here um, as somebody who's gonna go to another person's event and fill up their pockets, and they don't care whether you make a dime after you've actually paid the vendor fee.
Got
Is there any follow-up? Are you gonna advertise me before the event? Are you gonna are you guys advertise me after the event? Things like that. It's like a lot of them just go just because they want to go and they don't realize it's probably a waste of time or a waste of money.
you.
And then they just lose money. It happens over and over. Now that's been me in the past.
Hmm.
But these days, I'm very particular about what events I sign up for, or, I ask a lot of questions and I make sure that a nice amount of people are coming through, or, things like that, and that I'm getting support from the host and I'm not just somebody they're using to make money.
Got you.
That was a mouthful, but that's kind of
No,
what
I
I'm.
got you. I got you. So yeah, so I'll just say with you, Sandra, I mean, I'm sorry, Roxanne, on this is all of this intel that you're gathering is valuable, and that you're actually hearing what people are saying and what they are actually going through. And so again, I would just say to continue to document all of that, catalog all of that, because that could be a part of the book in of
Mhm.
itself. And that also could be a part of, I keep leaning again with you towards this newspaper idea,
Mhm.
because I feel like it would be that, well, again, your newspaper can feature those individuals
Mhm.
that you're talking about, like the gentleman that sells the cinnamon rolls. So, what I'm saying is that when people feel that they are a part of something, that also gives them a showcase,
Mhm.
as opposed to talking at them with something, then they feel like it's a part of it. The term
Right.
that what came to me when you were talking about the neighborhood setup was block party.
Yep.
That term kept coming up for me,
Yep.
for you for that.
That's definitely what I'm
So
trying to
what I
do.
want to say here, to be really clear, is I'm by no means saying don't do the book. I'm saying that potentially this newspaper idea could be the way that you have that connection piece that features the people in the neighborhood.
Rodney. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, that's your connection piece. It
Wow.
features the neighborhood, and then guess what? You get to put ads in your own paper for, guess what? Your book.
Yeah.
You see? So if you make it about the people, because you're saying that the one thing that you said was the vendors are not saying, the vendors are saying, what about me? What about us? They're not look. So you're coming in because so you're coming in saying, well, no, I'm going to make it about you. And it's not going to be like you can't feature everybody, but you've got a dearth of people that
Yeah.
are actually, all these vendors will all get their turn to be featured.
Right.
And then potentially what could happen, so your income could come from eventually maybe selling ad space in your paper, selling your book, and workshops. So that's where your money could come in from. But the paper could be, initially, the newspaper is essentially your lead magnet. Now you'll have to front load that in the beginning out of your own pocket to get it going. But eventually, like I said, you can sponsor your own paper by having ads to your existing landing page, which I know you already have that set up, to the existing book. It's already set up. And if people feel that you are demonstrating that you care about them and supporting them, then they're going to want to support you by getting your book, by getting your workshop. And I would actually, the last piece I'll say on it is the book should be bundled with the workshop.
Okay.
Actually, the workshops series will be the content that you will then put into the book.
Right.
So
I've
you're
been
not having
drawing
to sit
up.
down to write it, you're actually teaching it in real time.
Yeah.
And then you're actually taking those stories and that actual face-to-face back and forth conversation, and that's what gets featured inside the book. So I'm almost going to make the book like the last thing
Last, yeah.
that you're doing. You're going to actually
Yeah.
front load with this, build that connection piece first with the audience, make them showcase them first.
Yeah. I love that idea, like
Yeah.
having a news entrepreneur, a vendor entrepreneur newspaper. Mm. I think that's a great idea. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm
And then
excited.
what happens with that then is then that gives you a piece that then again, going back to the story, as I said, everything that I shared about Christine is applicable. What's the
I wrote it
story?
down. Yes.
What's the story? What's the story? Get clear about that. What's the emotional piece? What's the thing? Because again, you then connect that when you're talking to media, you know.
Okay.
And so by having that piece in there, you get clear. You can start to get you having that piece in there. It again, you've already tapped into a pain point that people are already emotional about, but you also can't work for free.
Right.
So you got to get compensated too. So again, as you're working with people, now you may get people who want to hire you as a consultant to help them. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there as that
Mhm.
the workshops could then go to the book. The newspaper could be, maybe ad space. It could be suppliers that need these vendors to still support them, can run ads in your paper. That could be, it's like, I'm saying newspaper could be like a newsletter, but basically it looks like a newspaper. And I showed
Yeah.
it to you last
Yeah.
week. So that could be the thing that I don't know. I just see that being able to hand those out at the events and
Things that will help them in their
help them.
journey.
Yeah.
And they could have suppliers right there that they can contact. Because I know for me, actually, some of my suppliers were from Etsy. Once I found people who were
Hmm.
like on top of it, I got my little cookie bags, like in a
Hmm.
few days or whatever. I would stick with those people. And they could be from anywhere, I guess. And then there was a supplier that wasn't that far from me that I found that was family run who had frosting and all the tools and
Yeah.
all the things for bakery
Yeah.
and just kind of see if they would want ad space. That is just genius. And nobody's doing this. Like nobody
No
has
one's
this
doing
right
this. No one's
now.
focusing on that market. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. I think I'm going to run a newspaper.
Exactly.
And then I'll have a book later. That
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
genius.
Exactly.
I
So
thank you.
that's,
I appreciate
oh, you're
that.
so welcome. And that's what I said in the beginning. This came to me is that being an author, such as Sandra, she had to go, but being an authorpreneur does not necessarily mean just a book. It can be an app. It can be a book. It could be a course. It could be a workshop. It could be a newspaper or newsletter. It could be a
Yeah.
combination of all of those things. Authorpreneur does
Yeah.
not start and stop with a book.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually just made a system, like I just built a testimonial
Mhm.
um page that captures testimonials.
Mhm.
And I know people pay for certain ones. There's a
Mhm.
popular one out there right now, but I think it's like monthly.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I was thinking, I don't want to pay them monthly to get my testimonials. So let me see what I can do. So I
Yeah.
built this. And then when I was done, I was like, oh my God, I just built
I love it. I
and
love it.
so I
Love it.
literally I put it in a, prompt marketplace and I put it on my website as a one-time sale thing that people
Yeah.
can use over and over forever.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that that I really, if I know I have an issue, I have something that I need to work for my brain and my pocketbook.
Mhm.
I can make it myself sometimes. Sometimes I have to pay for things.
Mhm.
But to be able to like create a newspaper or something like that where people can go and have something that they've been looking for, but they haven't been able to put the words to it.
Mhm.
I feel really good about that because I already know that there are people out there with questions and things that they want to say, but they're waiting for somebody else to kind of bring it up.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm hoping this. So I see what you said, Christine. Yeah, that is a lot of people say that. Yeah, they
Mhm.
don't want to pay these high fees and
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
makes no sense. And
Mhm.
it's,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
like you're
Mhm.
saying, Rodney, find something else that they can, because I do need to be compensated, so find
Yes.
something that I can be compensated
Yes.
for as I help people
Mhm.
jumpstart their journey as a food or product entrepreneur, as a vendor,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
because I don't want to do everything for free, for
No,
sure.
and well, you're not. And I'll just say this one last piece, and then I want to share a couple of things with you, and I'll let you all go. Um, you're an advocate for them. You're a leader and an advocate for them.
Mm,
And again, as I said to Christine a little bit ago, the most powerful piece that most of us don't think about is the power of collaboration.
mhm.
There are people out there that are looking for opportunities, which your media, and I'm just going to go here, your media company
That is crazy to think
has
about.
the ability to do.
I know it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You're an
Because in the
educator.
library, even not to be keep bringing up libraries, but it's like they give away a lot of free material.
Hmm.
So I'm sure they would be okay with me
Hmm.
putting a newspaper,
hmm
some
hmm
copies of a newspaper.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm not. So I want to just circle it back around. I'm not saying by no means to go discard your book project.
No,
I'm
I'm
saying,
not. I
yeah,
just see
and I know you're not. I
the
just want to make sure I
progression
say that.
though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see from the newspaper to the book. I see the progression of how all that ties together.
Hmm.
And that will really help me to get my audience and start getting those interviews and everything recorded
Hmm.
so that the book can come to fruition.
To fruition. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. 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 Wow. Good session. Was a good session.
yeah.
I feel this one. This was really good. This is really good. So again, I'm going to be doing these weekly. I'm trying to figure out the best times. I'm leaning towards Thursdays consistently. I'm looking at that. I'm trying to think about an evening session as well. So I'm still playing with that yet, but I am going to do one next week. I'm probably going to do it again on Thursday next week. Um, and if I'll just say this for those watching the video. share this if you know of someone that you feel that this real-time sort of breakdown of coaching can be of value to you, because I love hearing about creatives projects and what we're working on together. And we get too close to stuff individually. We can't see our stuff objectively a lot of times.
Mhm.
But the fact that someone else can come in and, like I said, listen to what you're saying and then see the connection points. Um, if you get one nugget, if you get one idea, if you get one thing that we talked about today that can totally shift the way you're thinking about it, it was time well spent. And I love it for myself. And while I love, Christine calls it chatty. While I love Chat GPT, I think it's wonderful, but there's something even equally more powerful as talking to people in a community type of an environment. So I really I ask, that more people come to these and watch these. So, and share them. I also want to throw this, not throw it out there, but put this out there too. By participating in the hot seats, I again publish these all up on YouTube. And guess what? Because that's a piece of media that goes out there, guess what? You get to put the link to your website, to your landing page, or whatever it is that you're working on, or your YouTube channel or your Instagram. I'll put the links to your information inside the description, so that as your people who are watching this, this is also a promo opportunity for you as well. So again, and this is also something, this what I'm doing now could also be a model that you could also implement in your media business that you're working on right now too. So I'm doing all of this, and this segues into, do you all have like 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share this with you really quick. So I've been working behind the scenes on working on the, again, my workshop series, which is now becoming soon to be a book called The Authorpreneur Decision. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the link in the description, but I'm going to share the screen here first. Let me just do this really quick. So I talk a lot about, can you all see this?
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm always talking about getting paid as you're writing your book. And I'm always talking about ecosystem. And ecosystem, what I mean by ecosystem is having your own container in which you are collecting the contact information from people who are interested in what it is that we do. And I've been in the internet marketing game since the early mid 2000s. So I've been doing this a long time. And I remember when WordPress even became a thing. I was like, what's WordPress? Because no one heard of WordPress. So I'm just saying it to say I've been at this a long time. And so I'm practicing what I'm preaching by demonstrating with you in real time what I'm highly encouraging you all to do as entrepreneurs. So the cornerstone of that is having something that we can exchange for contact information. In my case, I have a preview of the book that I'm working on right now and the program I'm working on right now called the Authorpreneur Decision. So the cornerstone of that is a landing page. You got to have a place to send people to collect contact information. I don't care where you publish, if it's on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever it is, you got to have a place to a hub in which to start collecting people's contact information, because otherwise you just, you don't know. The second to that would be maybe having a school community, which I also have as well. So again, I'm practicing what I preach by showing you that this is the foundation of the hub of the ecosystem. And what I also teach and walk everyone through, who, if we decide, or you decide to work with me, this is one of the first things that I help you do. Once we get clear about messaging and all of that, and what that initial freebie can be, or that, I can't say freebie, but that lead magnet can be. So we set up a landing page for you. This is the one that I've developed. for mine, and this will give you a preview chapter of, I shouldn't say, it's a preview of the book that I am now writing. So I put this together, and again, you all are seeing the first. This is the first iteration of it. I'm not saying I'm going to keep it all the way it is. Exactly, I may adjust and tweak some things, but this is what I do. I'm going to pop the link in the chat here for Christine and for Roxanne. And then I'm also going to share it in the description when I post this video to YouTube. So I'm going to pop this in here for you now. Okay. And then and everything that I'm talking about with you all today is also what I deep dive even more so into the masterclass series that I do. So, we talk a lot about getting people from the audience that we're building into the thing that we're doing, into the way we serve. All that content that we create, whether it's videos, whatever it is that we're doing, we need to have a place to send people. If you are published a book on Amazon and the book is ready, please do not send people directly to Amazon to go buy the book. Send them to a place like this first, collect the contact information, and then you can direct them to wherever else you want to send them. I'll also share some examples of clients that I've worked with. This is one of my other clients. This is Keisha Williams. Her book is called The ABC of Money Alphabet Coloring Book. This was the setup I set up for her. This is also another one I did for another client of mine, Rosetta Wood. Let's see here if I can find her shade, The Miracle of Changing Leaves. I'm sorry, I don't already have these up. So again, and this, can be like in this case with Keisha, we gave away a coloring page. For Agri did the same thing also for Rosetta. These are just an example of you can put video on here, you can put audio on here, but send them to something like this first and then get the contact information. That way you can then keep them warmed up and nurtured through emails. You can invite them into your school community, connect with you through social media. For mine that I showed you today, you'll get a welcome email from me that will basically, this is the welcome email. I give you what I've promised you here in this conversation, which is what I call my blueprint. And then I have invitations inside of that document that then go to my school community or to take my entrepreneur readiness assessment or to connect with me on all of my socials, which in my case is Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Again, this is also the foundation of the ecosystem. Once you've done that, then you can direct them wherever else you want them to go. Your workshops, your classes, your personal appearances, what media mentions that you've gotten, whatever it is. But this is a foundational piece that basically all of us need, and many of us don't do. And I'm going to say this too, as you're developing your content and putting yourself out there, even long before the book is done. Like I said, Roxanne's going to do newspapers, but you could have bookmarks made. Once you have the cover design done, you can have bookmarks made with a QR code on the bookmark, and the bookmark can then take them. This is exactly what Keisha did. She had bookmarks made, and the bookmark sends them over to this landing page. So she's collecting the information from the people who are interested in the book. So bookmarks is another option. Or like I say, maybe you can do a newspaper similar to what I'm talking about with Roxanne. These are things I deep dive also more so inside of my Authorpreneur Decision program, which I'm launching in the spring. I'm not exactly sure of the exact date yet, but what I do have you do is once you sign up for this and you get the actual PDF, I'll have links peppered throughout that document that then go over to a Google form that I have, which is an entrepreneur readiness assessment. And you'll fill that out. It's about 10 questions, real simple. And if I find that, based on your responses that we're a fit, I'll reach out to you about possibly, being a part of that beta program for that. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, and if you enjoyed what you got from me, And what I've shared, hey, Linda, um, if you if you enjoy what you heard today and you enjoyed how I coach and the way I think, I feel that being a part of my incubator would be a really good opportunity for you because not only is it coaching, but it's also real-time build out. We build these things out in the program. So you're not walking away with just us talking each week. You walk away with assets. So you walk away with now I don't build it all out for you, but I show you how to put it all together. So that way, like I said, you know you're walking away with your systems in place so that you can drive awareness and traffic to what you're doing and have your own hub, your own container in which you're collecting that information. Because again, we don't want people just to be um, we don't want to be out there talking to people and not have a way to containerize them in some kind of way. Social media is great, but everyone doesn't see everything we post on social media. And even if it's on, I don't care what platform you use, you've got to be inviting people back. You can go out and hand someone something on the street, or they get the best experience if you invite them into your home. And your platform is your home, it's your hub. And again, that way they always are up to date on new things you're doing, or appearances, speaking opportunities that you do, events that you're going to be at, new products, courses, ideas, whatever. And it's also a multiple touch point. You know, now we're at a place where everyone doesn't see everything on social because of algorithm issues, which is basically whatever they go, wherever they click on. So we want multiple touch points. We want people to hear us, we want people to see us, and we want to be able to contact people on a repeated basis. I may miss you in school, but I may see you in my emails. I may miss you there, but I'll see you on Instagram, or I may see you on YouTube. Because people aren't sitting around thinking about us 24 hours a day. So being able to have multiple touch points is just a way of staying top of mind. So when they're ready, they already know who you are. They already heard of you, and they went, "Oh yeah, I know she's the one that's talking about vendor. Yeah, I need to look into that. I thought I saw an email from her the other day. Then I'll go watch the video on YouTube. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I watched the video on YouTube. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I got an email from her. Let me go check that out. You know, so it's just about multiple touch points with people. And when people are ready for us and they're ready to move, then we are something that they comes to mind for us. So that's why having that foundational piece in your business is so valuable to have, which is that again, that landing page. Now you drive people to it, can be word of mouth. Again, I like bookmarks. That could be another way to go with it. It can be a newspaper like what Roxanne is doing. It could be a variety of different ways, but just have ways to drive traffic over to that to get them into your ecosystem first. And then what I also do inside the program is I help you because a piece that I have come to the realization about is setting the landing page part up is great and the welcome email sequence is great, but what do you say to them on a regular basis? How do you stay on top of keeping on top of messaging? Well, I got introduced to an idea the other day, which I actually already didn't even think about. So I also write emails. I have a couple of clients I write emails for. And what I've done is I've actually trained a chat GPT on the way my client talks and the content that she shares. And so when I need to write an email for her, because I've got it trained in her voice, I'll say, these are the things, these are the initiatives that we are promoting this week. This is what I need to have happen. This is where I need to direct people based on tone, cadence, personality. I need you to write an email. These are the things I need you to discuss. And then I have chat write my email for me because I've trained it on how my client speaks. So now I don't spend hours. I used to spend hours manually writing out this stuff. Now I've got the GPT trained to do that. So when I need emails done, I just go in and say, this is what I'm working on this week, you know, and of course I proof it to make sure it's not, you know, because sometimes chat can hallucinate, but I make sure it understands. And then I've got the email done. and then I'm ready to send it out. So that takes away the thing about, well, what am I going to say each week? Well, now you'll know what am I promoting? What is my initiative? What's the story I want to share this week? What's the highlight? What's happened? And you just tell it. This needs to remain in my voice, my personality, my tone, the way I speak. It needs to understand you. And you train the GPT in how you talk and how you speak. The key thing that I do right away is I interview you, and I literally upload your voice and the way you say things so that it's understanding. It's not just me talking, it's you talking. So that it stays with that tone. So if you got a YouTube channel already, you start uploading your videos. You can start getting it trained in how you speak. And then all you have to do each week is just then keep going into, this is what I'm promoting this week. This is where I'm speaking this week. This is what I got going on this week. I need you to, and like I said, I always say, do not change my personality. Do not change my tone. Do not change my cadence. Do not change, don't take me out of it. I don't want this to sound like a robot. It needs to sound like me. Okay. And then once you do that, it keeps on top of that. You could use Claude as well, but that's what I do. And that way I can get emails out because we have to be able to send something out every week, preferably. I recommend at least once a week something needs to go out. And then there could be a synergy between that and your school community, which I also recommend a school community as well. So, and then what I love about it is that I can repurpose that content. So I can repurpose that email as a post in my socials if I want to. Um, or I can record it and put it up as a YouTube video, or I can have more depth about it and turn it into an article that I can put on LinkedIn. So the idea is that the content doesn't take you hours and hours and hours. Oh my God, I got to come up with something this week. No, you use it as an assistant to help you to get that done so that you can stay top of mind with your people. Because again, and of course, any of you who've been with me any length of time know that my favorite three rules of marketing always is tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them over and over and over again, because people don't pick up everything we say. It's just we're living in a busy, chaotic world with tons of things on our mind, and everyone's not picking up everything we're putting down when we say it. So we got to keep telling people and keep giving people opportunities to connect with us. So when they have the need for us, or if they hear someone say something that they go, hey, I'm this lady's on, I've been following her on school, I've been following her on YouTube. Go check out her stuff. That's how things happen. That's how things happen. So we got to be able to understand that we have the resources available. We just got to know how to leverage it in a way so that our time isn't spent creating content. All our time is spent. We want to be in communication with people who are going to work with us and buy from us, but we've got to get them warmed up to that place. And also, too, I'll say this, when you're out there talking to vendors or potential collaboration partners or whatever the case may be, they can see your library of work to know that you're legit. Because we want that as well. They want to know, okay, well, who are you and how long have you been doing this and where can people find you? They're going to go check out your YouTube videos. They're going to go check out your social media. Our social media is really our resume now. It really is. So it behooves us to put content out on a regular basis, even if it's like once a week we put something out. Just have multiple touch points, is what I'm saying. So again, a huge part of what I talk about in the incubator is that content strategy as well, and how to do that, and how to take one piece and multi-purpose it so that we're not we're at a point now where none of us should be sitting around going, oh, I don't know what to do, and I don't even have the time or the bandwidth to even try to put this together. We're at a point now where we need to be able to come up with one idea, one concept, record it, multi-purpose it, and distribute it. That's what I said just to you a moment ago, Roxanne, is that in essence, we are all media companies now. We really are. We're media companies, and books is a part of our media brand. We're media companies now. We're personal brands that have media, and we have to be able to reach people in whatever touch point, whatever way that they can receive us, whether it's audio, video, visual, whatever. Okay. So, anywho, thank you for the extra time. We went over, but that's fine. I just wanted to share that with you. And I don't know if you saw it, Linda, where I shared the link to the landing page. I popped it in the chat. But this is the new landing page that I made for the workshop series and the book that I'm working on right now called Authorpreneur Decision. And I'll pop the link again in the chat here for you. And this is, I haven't done the branded domain name yet. I'm not sure what the domain name that I have for is actually too long. And I want to try to come up with a shorter domain name for it. But anyway, but I'm just wanted to show you this because I want you to walk through what I would be helping you do in the program. So you'll go to a landing page, you'll fill it out, you'll get a sample of what I'm working on. You'll see how I'm inviting the next steps to get into my world. And it all is represented inside of that document that I'll send you. It's a preview, like a little preview of the book, but it's look at it from the perspective of this is what Rodney can do for me, can help me developing something, similar. Even the email that you'll get from me right afterwards. So anyway, thank you all for participating today. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
And I
Yeah,
hope you got a lot of value out of it. Yeah.
very much so.
Any questions, last questions, or anything for me before we go?
Mm, I don't think I have any questions.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Christina?
Session. Great session. I learned lots, and thank you
Yeah,
for spending this time with all of you.
Wonderful. Linda?
yeah, that's
I know
great.
I didn't see when you joined, so I don't know what part you heard.
Oh, I know you are already. In any case, I'm also seeing you tomorrow. But one question. I am. I was comparing GPT and Claude.
Hmm.
I'm becoming comfortable with Claude.
Yes.
Just think about it because we're going to be talking again tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And I am so inspired. It's unbelievable. I can't wait.
Oh, me too. Likewise.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Linda and I will be working together very soon. She's working on a
Yeah.
wonderful book project, and yeah. So to answer your question really quickly about Claude is
Yeah.
Nicole McCain,
Yeah.
who also is one of my clients I work with. She and I actually, Nicole is actually on the way to Los Angeles today. She's going to be
Mm.
speaking at Arlen Hamilton's event
Oh yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we were able to get her books successfully published on Lulu. She got the copies. They all came out really beautifully. We are now in the process of trying to set up global distribution for the book. But yeah, she's getting on the plane tonight with the books and going out there with them. And we had an in-depth conversation yesterday about Claude. So she's actually walked me through how to set up Claude. For
I
writers,
see.
I hear Claude is actually much better.
Yeah, I think
So,
so.
yeah, so but she did. I told her, I said, I'm not that I'm against Claude. I have Claude, but once I have found something that's comfortable that I'm used to that fits, I'm like a typical guy. Once I find something, even though it's beaten down and should be probably thrown away, I won't get rid of it because it's broken in. It's broken in and comfortable. So
Yeah.
ChatGPT is that comfort for me.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing Claude is wonderful. And so she did some amazing videos she shared with me on how to start to transition and train Claude. And I've
Yeah.
heard for years, Alicia Little. Um, I don't know if any of you know about her. Alicia Little is like a huge person in the AI world, and she did an event here in Vegas a few months ago, and she talked about using Claude and ChatGPT, but Claude was really seemed to be more preferable for writers.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I switched to Claude last month myself.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you, everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all your information and all the input. Yeah, these are always great.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for participating because I know you don't have to be here. And like I say, I love brainstorming. This is my jam. So I love brainstorming and I love helping creators just get their message out there, get their work out there. And we need support. We need
Yeah.
support. So, wherever two or more are gathered,
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, I'll let you all go. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
And
Okay.
like I said, I'll publish this up on YouTube. And as soon as it's done, I'll post it inside of the school community so you can watch the replay again. And if you have any links to anything, I'm going to ask though, because there's, more people today, just one link to one main thing. If you have one thing, or just a way to contact you,
you.
share that with me and I'll put that in the description and then share it with your friends or share it with colleagues and because I'd love to my plans to want to do at least a hot seat. I'd like to do it weekly. I'd like to do it weekly. So just to just to kind of take the temperature on what's happening in the marketplace and see how I can further support creators. Author, all of you are entrepreneurs, so embrace that identity because that's what you all are. Linda, by the way, I won't go into any details just yet because I don't know if I'm allowed to yet, but you're rocking it right now. When I got that email from you the other night, I was like going, wow, she is like go going. Yeah,
You,
pre-publication
you,
and she's selling books. Lots of
yeah.
selling books. So we'll talk about it more tomorrow. But yeah, I
Thank
was
you.
so excited to hear that when you shared that with me. I was like,
Oh, no, you must take the credit because I would not have done what I've done. I mean, today I'm sitting at 130, formal copies ordered. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
when
Wow.
you emailed me last night, it was 50.
Wow.
Wow. Good job.
Get
Thank
That's
out.
you.
before the book is even made.
Well, this is it. I mean, the credit goes
Oh,
to Rodney. I, I just cannot believe it. Yes.
Rodney, 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 Rodney.
Oh my
Congratulations,
God,
Alma.
I love
Thank you.
that. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. That just makes my day. I love that.
I
No,
want to know what
you
you
don't.
did.
I love that. I
That's
love it, and it's not
inspiring.
about me. I love it. I love it
Yeah.
when because things I always say things come through me a lot of times, not quote unquote from me.
Yeah,
So I believe in
yeah.
a higher power and things come through me. So when stuff comes through and you all jump on and run with it and you come back and tell me I'm not going, I says, okay.
Yeah.
They're listening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is
Oh,
inspiring and encouraging.
Yes, it
Oh,
wow.
is.
yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you,
That's
thank you,
amazing.
thank you.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
I mean, all we have right now is just the manuscript. We haven't even started working together yet.
I know, I know, I know.
We
That
just,
Yeah,
illustrates the point you made earlier about promoting your book even before it's
yes.
out there. So that glad
Yeah.
you
yeah,
joined.
yeah.
Can I ask what your book is about? Or
It's just
no?
the title is Beyond the Icon. Um, I was inspired by working closely with Nelson Mandela, and there are lessons I learned.
Wow.
So I distilled that, but I've packaged it in such a way that uh, it's for everybody who it's for I call it it's a book that I'm dedicating to a generation that is refusing to compromise its values, that also refuses to be powerless. So, entrepreneurs, self-development, there are 10 chapters, and each chapter has a theme. But basically, my muse happened to be Nelson Mandela because I worked closely with him. But yeah, so that's what this book is about. Uh,
That's
there's my
amazing.
story woven in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds very interesting.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can see people buying that.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow,
Oh,
Linda, I am just beyond. I'm just beyond. I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed. Thank you, God, because
Yeah.
I always say,
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know who's ever coming to me. Um, but I always trust that he's always going to guide who,
Yeah,
who.
yeah,
I don't ask anymore how. I just trust who.
Ooh.
And
Yes.
so I just want to share this one piece with you is that I don't have a large YouTube following. I think I have about 250 something subscribers right now. I don't have a big email list. My school community has 85 people in it. I'm only sharing this with you all to say is that it's not about the numbers, the vanity metrics that so many people want to focus in on.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of I've got 5,000 this and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter about that. It's about the connection point that we
yeah.
make with people. And the only
Mhm.
way we can develop real connection is to show up and be ourselves.
That's
I
it.
can't be anybody
Okay.
else but me. I've been doing this for over 30 years.
Mhm.
And I just feel like that God is really like
Yeah.
showing me like, okay, when Christine met me 4 years or 3 years ago, I was at this point and I know he's been pushing me and pushing me. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for that. It's like, going, I just shut up and keep doing what I say to do.
trust me, when I met you, Rodney, too, I didn't know who Rodney Washington was. I said, okay.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best things, really. Yeah, I am so confident in Rodney. He's pushed me, or I didn't want to be pushed, or didn't think I could do it. Like the train. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. The children's book.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been a good journey. I'm so glad that I met you, Rodney.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Likewise,
Helped
all
me
of
get
you.
to where I am.
All
Yeah.
of you.
yeah,
I mean, because I couldn't have done it without you. I mean, I could have put this out there and no one responded anything, but I know that as I just keep walking it out, those who are, I used to say this a long time ago, it says, those who I'm supposed to shepherd will come.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
need to go out and
yeah,
chase. And so I say it all to you all to say it doesn't matter what your race is, it doesn't matter what your age is, it doesn't matter what your gender is, it doesn't matter anything about that. The people who are supposed to be yours will come to you, but
Mhm.
they can't find us if we don't show up.
Right.
correct.
And one
Yeah,
of my phrases
yeah,
I've used years ago is that you show up, we show up until they catch up.
Right.
yes,
Just keep
yeah,
showing up. And
yeah,
we're
Yeah.
one conversation, one email, one post, one thing away from everything shifting, but we have to keep showing up. All of you here are leaders. All of you here, you wouldn't be here. I'm a leader. All of you are leaders. You wouldn't be here if you weren't a leader. I don't have the big following. I don't have the big audience. I don't have all that stuff. I know when the time is right. God's getting me prepared for all of that, which I get nervous about. But I always joke. I says, "Well, God, I'm gonna do the best I can. I do have band-aids. Push me out the way if I need to. I'll be all right. I'll be all right." But I just know that it's. I feel it like it's coming. So it's here.
yeah,
So I
Yeah.
just want to keep showing up. I just so love this. I so love this time together. I love being able to hear what you're doing, and I love hearing what's coming through me to say to you to do.
Um,
And if it's resonating and you're picking it up and running with it, run with it, run with it.
Running.
With Miss Linda, I'm just like, literally, you emailed me last night and said you sold 50 books and now it's 130.
yeah. One, that's right. 130, and I'm also
Incredible.
shocked.
Oh my God, that's nothing but
There you
God.
go. Proof
That's
right there
amazing.
that
That's nothing but God.
you got something great going here, Rodney.
Nothing but God. Wow. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. All right.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm glad that I'm learning that it's not about the numbers too, because
Yeah,
Arlen says that as well these
hmm
days.
hmm
And
yeah,
Nicole introduced me to you. I didn't know who Rodney Washington was. I'm like, who is she telling me to go find? And
hmm
then she gave me a link, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's nice and quiet here, but I
Mhm.
love what he's talking about and the different mind shift to have in order to do this.
Mhm.
And I was gonna put it on the back burner for a long time. And and then it just kept pulling at me. I was like, you need to contact this man. And then I finally did, and I'm glad I did. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
just
But
glad.
I'm getting prepped up for Arlen's next conference at 3, so I gotta
Oh, that's
go.
right. I forgot about that.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I need to get ready
so
for that too. All righty. Well,
yeah.
I'll let you all
Bye,
go.
everybody.
God bless you
Good.
all.
Thank you.
Thank
Talk to
Bye.
you
you.
tomorrow,
Thank
Miss
you very
Linda. I'm
much.
looking forward.
Yes, 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 yes,
All
yes.
right. Have a blessed day. Talk to you
You
soon.
too.
Lovely.
Bye
Good,
bye.
good. Bye-bye.